Hey Orbiters, my name's Orion. This is a intermediate and advanced tutorial, basics all the way to advanced tutorial that covers everything with arm wraps. I'm not going to touch too hard on squish wraps and arm bounces because Malo will be doing a whole tutorial on that because that's a whole separate other thing. There will be timestamps in the description so that you can skip around the video to just move on to one of the different kinds of wraps. I'll start off with basic arm wraps, and then I'll get more into depth with how you want your arm wrap to go. I like to do mine on forearms. I know Prophet does his on forearms too, which is kind of an ideal place for it to wrap off. Then I'll go to body wraps, leg wraps. I'll touch on the arm bounces and your upper and lower arms, body bounces, and then I will touch miscellaneous wraps. It's just kind of the odd category of some stuff that I do. Okay. For the basic arm wraps, essentially all you do is just this. You want to use both hands to twist. That'll keep your wrap stronger, cleaner. So I'm throwing my top hand or my back hand over the top, back under the bottom, and I'm rotating this wrist with it. To transition from here, there's a couple of ways. You can go just like that. You can swing your arms back and forth like that. Or you can go from top to bottom on your other arm, top to bottom, and vice versa, bottom to top, top, bottom, bottom, or top, bottom, yeah. That's the most basic way to do an arm wrap. To get to the more advanced stuff, it is going to require you to have a certain level of, or a certain length of string that makes sure that your wrap hits on the medius part of your forearm. Ideally, you want to hit it somewhere in here on your forearm. I usually get mine, right about there. If you guys want to know my string length, I have 17-inch string, and I do 1 index finger wrap for all my main arm wraps. Okay. So from here, there is a lot of different ways you can do combos and such. And from here, I can also go into almost any other kind of wrap, like body wraps, leg wraps, foot wraps, and then there's a variety of transitions from arm to arm or body part to body part, that I can do, and I'll go over those right now. So, I guess the most basic one would be from here, just straight across, or under, and that's pretty basic. The next one, I would say, this one's pretty fun, I do this one a lot, is I'll let it spin around, or a full rotation before it goes back to the other arm. Another one is this overhead one I do. It's kind of like a figure 8 move where I would go from the top of my hand over to top of my hand around my head, and this kind of motion over to the other arm, so it lands on the other arm, or it can land underneath my arm. It's just a different style of what you can do. Let me see. There is. Let's see, you can still. Never mind. This one you can do a transition where you keep your arms close together, and you wrap it. Bring one hand on your arm. The hand that's currently being wrapped underneath and off the top. You swing it into the underside of your other arm, like this. If I'm going too fast for you guys, you can slow down the video in the YouTube settings. It might help, because I do go fast. I'm known for it. Do this. Yeah, that's pretty much all the transitions. Another style that's, I guess this would be like a bit more miscellaneous, but another style would be you can let it do a full rotation before. Anyways, I'm getting scattered. That's pretty much all the next level of arm wraps. I guess that would be like intermediate level. Now we can get into body wraps, which are pretty simple. It builds off that concept of just taking it off your arm, or actually it doesn't even need to be on your arm. You can usually do it off the sides. That's what a lot of people do. Lower legs. I guess you could do it around the neck. I'd be careful with that one. I actually do one where it's a transition where I go from underneath to the other side, where I can hit off my stomach and not hit my balls, because that would hurt. I haven't done that yet. But yeah, you can do it off your stomach. Kind of hurts. Or off your back. This. That's also, yeah, that's all part of body wraps. I know a lot of the Hawaiian orbiters will do a kind of like a back wrap like this with their squish wraps. Crazy motherfuckers. Yeah, for the most part, that's all the body wraps. Now the leg wraps, again, build off the intermediate level of arm wraps. I do mine like this, off the top. It could be done off the bottom if you have enough momentum, I guess. I can't really do that, but off the top. And then same thing with the foot. Yeah, that's for the most part leg wraps. There is a special kind of leg wrap that's like a double leg wrap, where you bounce it off the top, and then you have to do this. You hit the orbit here, and right before it switches out, you throw your other leg out, and it collides off that side and swings over. It's kind of a transition, transitions from arms too, like that. Yeah, that's about it for leg wraps. The arm bounces for upper and lower, that will again be touched by Malo in a more in-depth tutorial where he does it with his squish wraps probably. But yeah, the arm bounces are essentially on the back of your arm. You hit the orbit off, and then it transfers back to your original hand. The same thing with underneath. It just has to be top side like that, and then underside has to be up from the underneath on both arms. And those are basically just arm bounces. It's these. You can do it like this. It's just all about keeping the momentum traveling the same way, and then once it rotates, you gotta go the other way. Oh shit. Yeah, that's kind of about it. For miscellaneous wraps, squish wraps would fall under this category. I will do some squish wraps real quick. I personally, and I think a lot of the other orbiters, Hawaiians especially, do it kind of with shorter string. I do 3, again I have 17-inch string, and I do 3 fingers for my squish wraps. And squish wraps, you have to swing your top hand in, bring it out, swing it in. Shit. Again, it's going to be touched on more in depth by Mala's tutorial. He will explain it so much better than I can. I'm just really just pointing you in the direction of his tutorial. Now the last thing I would say for the miscellaneous wraps, there's something isn't quite a wrap, but it's called a Koala Grab. I guess it's a wrap. It's called a Koala Grab. It's another Hawaiian move where you catch the orbit in your hand right after a wrap. I think I touch on this in my stalls tutorial because it is also a stall. It stalls the orbit. But yeah, what you gotta do is, it can be done off bottom hand or underneath your arm and above your arm. And what you have to do is you swing it around, and then you have to pull with your opposite hand so that it lands perfectly in your hand. Do it again. Probably gonna need to make it slow-mo to see this really well. And from underneath, oh shit. Looks very well done if it's executed correctly. Oh, and I also do a style where I do one-handed wraps. It's kind of like a poi style. It's essentially uses all of the concepts that I already explained in this tutorial. You just get the freedom of moving your other hand around. There's a lot of different stuff you can do with it. Foot wrap, legs, body. But yeah, that's just my own creativity, and you can do with that what you will. And last part of the miscellaneous wraps, I think I've said last part like 5 times. Last part is the hula hoop wrap, which I actually should put in body wraps. It's where you're just doing this, and you spin around, and it just makes a hula hoop around you. Yeah. And that, I think, is it. I hope. Please subscribe for more tutorials. Happy orbiting.